Hey, what's up? It's Madeline Paquette, and today we're talking mid-weight white wines. Now, a lot of wine lovers I talk to are like, oh yeah, I love wine, I drink it all the time. And then I ask them, well, what do you like to drink? And they're always like, oh, I just drink red wine. And I feel like that's such a missed opportunity. There's so many delicious white wines out there with texture and interesting things going on in the palate that would actually appeal to red wine drinkers a lot. So these wines right here, I think really are intriguing and interesting, and there's a lot of stuff going on with them. I wanna run through what grape varieties these are and where they come from so you have some ammo next time you're shopping. So my first wine is a Chenin Blanc, and it's from Dry Creek Valley. Now, Dry Creek Valley is a sub-appellation of a larger region. It's in the North Coast in California, that's just north of San Francisco, but it's within Sonoma. Dry Creek Valley is right here. Chenin Blanc is a crazy grape. You don't really know what you're gonna get. Is it gonna be a richer style with more peachy notes, lusciousness to it? Or is it gonna be like a lean, limey style? What I think is gonna give this wine texture is that it was fermented indigenously, and it takes a longer time for the fermentation to complete. That's actually gonna probably increase the complexity of flavors that are in this wine because of that extension of time. Additionally, the wine was taken out of the fermenter and put into oak barrels. During that time in oak barrels, now these are neutral oaks, so they're not gonna add any of the vanilla or butter like you get in Chardonnay. That's already gone. But what happens is all the fine leaves. Fine leaves are all these little dead yeast bits that sort of, float around. And they all sink down to the bottom of the barrel. But what the winemaker does is they have this weird tool that looks kind of like a golf club, but they stick it in the barrel and they wiggle it around and it stirs up all the leaves. Now, the leaves add texture. They can be creamy. They add all this flavor to the wine. So I'm hoping that we have some additional flavor in this wine because of the fine leaves. My next wine comes from Italy, and it's labeled by the region, and it's called Lugana. This wine right here comes from right outside of Verona, right south of Lake Garda, which is right up here. They call the grape variety Turbiana. But in actuality, DNA testing eventually revealed that it was Verdicchio, which is a pretty common grape. It grows up and down the eastern coast. Here, where it's made in Lugana, I tend to find it produced in a richer and more lush style. Where the grape variety grows, there's a lot of calcareous clay. Now, clay with grape varieties, when wines are growing in clay soils, they tend to produce more phenolics. I don't know why this is true, it's just something I've noticed. But I'm excited to try this because I know this region for its clay and having that richer style of wine. So when you're buying wines in bulk, you often, you put a bunch of things in your cart than you want, and then you kind of reduce down until it's like the right price. And what I didn't realize what I did when I was buying all these wines is I got 2 Vermentinos. I must be a huge Vermentino fan. That is the truth. I am a huge Vermentino fan. One actually is from the United States and the other is from France. And what I think is so cool about having made this mistake is that this wine says that it makes a Corsican style Vermentino, and this wine happens to be from Corsica. So Corsica is this little island off the coast. It's in the middle. It's actually just north of Sardinia. It's really close to Italy. And one of the major grapes they grow there, they call Vermentino. It's Vermentino, it's the same grape, or in southern France they call it Roll. Everybody's got a different name for these grapes, okay? This wine grows on the eastern coast here, but it grows on soils that are a mixture of sand and clay. So sand, we're gonna get a more aromatic style, a lighter body, and clay, we're gonna get more of that texture in this wine. So let's compare it to the American version. The Vermentino from California, they called it Vermentino, which is the same name they use in Corsica, so they're paying homage there. And it comes from this region down here around Santa Barbara in a little area called Santa Ynez. Now, similar climate you could find in this part, this southern, really right next to Santa Barbara, as you might find in Corsica. So they really picked the right spot. On top of that, what I think is so interesting about this wine is it said it was sourced from almost 100% sandy soils on one side, and then another site which had more loam and clay. So What we have here is this mimicking of the soil types, even in this wine, to try to demonstrate a sort of Corsican style of Vermentino. So we obviously need to find out how these wines taste compared to one another, right? Fortunately, I have one of these, so I'm gonna totally sneak a taste from both of these wines so we can compare them. By the way, this is called a Coravin, and it's a great way to steal wine from yourself. Over here we've got the American wine, and over here we've got the French wine. All right, this wine smells moderate intensity. I smell green melon, a little bit of saltiness, almost like salty sea air, slight peach skin, definitely some grapefruit on the nose. Let's give it a taste. Crazy amounts of texture. Lots of spritey acidity that comes through on the mid palate, sort of middle part of my tongue. Then I feel this nice oiliness on the mid palate, and the phenolics come through on this wine. A little bit of bitterness, a little crunchiness, which I think supports the acidity. Yummy, it's tasty. There's a little bit of funky hay note on the finish that I'm not super keen on, but it's warm. It'll probably do well if I cool it down a bit. Let's compare it to the French wine. On the nose, more set into the glass. It's not as rich smelling. Peach, definitely more in that peach flavor. Apricot, sort of like golden raisin. And then this saltiness, salinity, like sea air. This wine tastes slightly less acidic. There's this oiliness that comes across my entire palate. And then I get more bitterness, bitter notes on the finish. Almost like tarragon. Wow. Very similar. I don't know which one I like more. I kind of like them both. From being a world away, they're rocking a similar style. I like it. So that's my pitch on mid-weight white wines. I hope you are as excited as I am about this style of wine. Until next time, your required reading, if you don't already have it, check out a copy of Wine Folly, the Magnum Edition. Not only is loaded with amazing grape variety information, there are detailed maps and a whole introduction section that talks a little bit more about some of the terminology that I go into when I talk on video. Send us a subscribe and a like. Leave me a comment of what you want to learn about next. And guys, gals, have a wonderful wine time. Peace out.